Thank you. This does not have the provisions, without that amendment, this does not have the provisions for the safety of our kids. So for whatever you're going to solve, are we just going to like be running another cleanup bill next year to protect the kids that were not harmed by this in this last year? Oops. We forgot a couple words, and now we've got this whole thing with water, and we're not going to be able to have our backflow inspections because we didn't understand what was going on. We didn't slow down. Oh, we're just going to let the kids release their medical records without having any clue what they're doing. The rest of this bill might be okay. Reminds me of a little bit of civil engineering when you study city planning. 99% of sewage is pure water. 99% of this bill might be good, but when you don't protect the kids of this state by intentionally including wording in a bill because you had the opportunity to remove the wording, so by intentionally making sure that you keep the wording in that bill that victimizes the children of our state, this is a victimizing bill. The intent of this bill now becomes the victimization of our children and the release of their medical records with a bunch of other garbage to gussy it up. It's predatory. That happens a lot in this room. It's a very small thing. We could have removed it, and it should have had nothing to do with it. But this body, the majority, decided that the most important part of this bill was victimizing children.
Representative DeGraff, careful.
I'm sorry that it was the most important part of the bill. This bill victimizes children. This bill will create victims. It could have been fixed, easily fixed, given the opportunity to fix it. Those words in the bill now become the intent of the bill. If they were inadvertently added, they were intentionally kept. A bill intended to victimize is a bill that's presented by predators. Protect the children.
Committee will stand in a brief recess.
The most vulnerable here are the 12-year-olds. And their parents, when they see the wording of this bill that intentionally allows the child, the minor child, who's not allowed to enter into any sort of contract. I did look it up, 21 years old for most car rentals, if you have meet some certain stipulations. 21 for a car, 12 years old to handle your medical records. HIPAA is a lot of training for adults, a lot of training to protect that.
To the amendment?
Yes, sir. This is to the amendment.
To the amendment about the safety clause petition?
The safety clause, the safety clause is now to bypass the opportunity that parents have to potentially gather a petition together to reject the idea that maybe their 12-year-olds should be able to release their medical records. That's what the safety clause is now doing. Yeah, the safety clause would have been a good idea to make sure that people got their services that needed, but now this safety clause is a bypass to make sure that parents do not have the opportunity to petition the government, as is their First Amendment right, to not allow their 12-year-old to release their medical records with lifelong implications. Thank you, sorry. The safety clause here is now in an intentional end run around parents who might want to petition the government. And the reason for end run around parents being able to petition the government is to ensure that 12-year-olds can release their medical records having absolutely no clue what they're doing. This bill is going to create victims, and we're putting a safety clause on it to make sure it happens as quickly as possible. And the only concern is that previously I said predator.